Hey everyone, welcome back to the Racing² podcast. I'm Tom Lawson, who runs the Racing² business. I'm back after a couple of weeks away in Australia, tasting the breakfasts of Melbourne. But yeah, so we're back doing the global kind of bloodstock market review. So I'll take you through what's been happening in global bloodstock this week. Quite an active week globally. Big sale in the US with the OBS March 2-year-old sale. First part of Magic Millions March. In Australia, a couple of English digital sales as well. And then a national hunt sale, Tattersalls Cheltenham, after racing at Cheltenham yesterday. Globally turned over in the market, 90 million and across those three sales. If you look at OBS March, very successful OBS March sale, average up, medium up, aggregate up, detail at the sale. But pretty busy week in bloodstock overall. Nothing happening in France, New Zealand, the Middle East this week. So mostly kind of National Hunt, Cheltenham, OBS, 2-year-old sales, and Magic Millions English. 72 million gross, and that's up 9.7% year on year at OBS March, and 43 of 566 horses sold. The average went up 7% to $162,000, and the median went up a really impressive 21.4% to $85,000. So just sign of a very healthy 2-year-old market in America. And $7 million plus sales, which is kind of tying for the highest ever OBS March. So again, kind of very high and very strong at the top end. Sale topper was a Nyquist filly that's going to, I think, Boyd Racing and Killora Stud. Best pin hook return was 2,500% increase, but we'll take you through the pin hooks in a couple of pages. You can see the metrics year on year, but if you look at the kind of maroon metric, that's OBS March, green from 26, green is 25, and just everything up year on year. The RNAs, so reserved not achieved, did actually go up slightly. So that was 21.7% of hips offered versus 17.6% last year. So also a bit more selectivity, either on the vendor side to not release horses cheaply, or on the buyer side as well. But kind of with healthy metrics in the other areas, I think you can kind of let the RNA rate off. Day 2 was the biggest day at OBS. It was the standout session. I think it's the strongest ever single session at OBS March in the last 3 years, I think, since 2023. So a good strong session. If you look at the $1 million plus juveniles, Nyquist filly, Boyd Racing, Wavertree, Tree as a 2-year-old consigner. I might show some stats on them. Into Mischief, there was a massive Into Mischief pin hook bought by, I think, Tammy Bobo, I think it is, as a yearling out of Book 5 at Keeneland, September. $1,000 for an Into Mischief yearling is quite the find, to be honest with you. I didn't know they even have $75,000 Into Mischief yearlings. Breezed very well, and then made 1.85 million. So that is an absolutely massive pin hooking return. Why was that $75,000? And like reading some of the interviews after the sale, they said that the yearling had compressed hocks, and that's why it was an Into Mischief yearling in Book 5. The buyer, Tammy Bow, said very happy to forgive compressed hocks, and it's just how they're made, and has had success with yearlings with compressed hocks in the past. That's how you find a 75k Into Mischief yearling. First season side Corniche did very well. A lot of the Corniche progeny we thought were very nice. Nyquist is probably the commercial sire of the moment, very well received and popular at the moment. Again, Wavertree, out of an Argentine champion mare. Drain the Clock, first season sire, also very well received. Debris quickly all week. That went to KAS Stables, which is a Saudi-based ownership entity. Pedro Lanz buys a lot for them. He's a really good purchaser of 2-year-olds. Very good judge out of the 2-year-old sales. That top pinhook was the Motown, which was a 40k weanling, and went to Bob Baffert on behalf of Boa McCorb for just a shade over $1 million. So good work. As mentioned, I think the stock of the first season sires was probably one of the strongest and best we've seen at 2-year-old sales, certainly in the last 5 years. The Corniche progeny were all very nice. He led freshman sires by average at 650,000 from 4 sold, including that 1.35 million day one. Sale topper, Drain the Clock, very good. They were breezing quickly. That 1.1 million return, 700,000 return. Again, I've mentioned Pedro Lanzi bought 2 for 1.8 million. They were just very nice, breezing 2-year-olds. Flightline, we loved all of Flightline progeny at the early sales last year. He had a 775,000 filly, which was the first foal of German Group 1 winner. Lika has gone to Japan. Hideaki Yuki Mori. Japan were quite active across a number of lots here. And also I think Nashville and Jackie's Warrior did pretty well as well. Nashville had a $555,000 filly and a $265,000 colt, and Jackie's Warrior had a $500,000 colt to Bill Childs. And the Golden Pals were nice as well. Scored a couple of them really nice. Yeah, well done to the freshman sires. As mentioned, Nyquist was massively in demand. Absolute kind of up and comer. Would be the commercial sire of the week, I would say. Into Mischief, it's just unbelievable that you can find a 75,000 Into Mischief yearling and turn it into a 1.85 million Into Mischief 2-year-old. Mule also had a big sale to Japan. Katsumi Ishida went to 750,000 for an Army Mule colt as well. So the Japanese eyes were certainly on the OBS sales. It was very active from buyers. Donato Lani spent 3.9 million. Frank Fletcher 2.65. As said, Hideyuki Mori 2.4 million. Castables, Saudi Arabia 1.8. Katsumi Yoshida, Japan 750k. So also, Korean interests were pretty active, and they were kind of participating through the Korean Owners Incentive Development Program. So a lot of kind of money coming in Japan. Top consigners, Waver Tree were top at 7.73 million, followed by Topline at 5.38 and Merrick at 4.68 million. We really like forms that we use to evaluate the 2-year-old sales, Breeze Vision. If we look at vendor performance, we track vendor performance across all US 2-year-old sales 2015 to 2025 in terms of grade 1 winners offered. Waver Tree, 807 runners, 152 winners, 7 grade 1 winners sent. And like population baseline is like 0.2 to 0.3%, so it's 3 times above population baseline, so it's very good. 26 graded stakes winners. So Waver Tree are our top rated 2-year-old consigner in the US. So good to see them getting kind of just deserves, really. Yeah, pinhooking returns we mentioned, Motown Colt, 26 times yearling price at Mischief Colt, 25 times yearling price. Upstart Filly was a 60k weanling and made $800,000. The weanling price. So that's OBS. That's the 2-year-old sales. That's kind of the start of the breeze up sales in the Northern Hemisphere. So then we go April, Tats Craven, OBS Spring, and then Goffs as well. Tats Cheltenham sale. That's Thursday the 12th. So yesterday evening, I'm recording this on Friday the 13th. Again, record aggregate at that sale. It was very lively. Record top lot, 530,000 for Monster Truck, who's a 4-year-old gelding by Goliath de Burley. Won a point 4 days ago. Average was a record 175k. Clearance was really strong at 89.3% of lots offered to lots sold. That 460,000k gelding, Monster Truck, another 400,000 Goliath de Burley, a 340,000 point-to-point winner, just a a big spend. And I think the message from Tats Cheltenham is that Goliath de Burley just emerges as a very prominent and very significant national hunt stallion, making 1.33 million just from 3 lots offered. So it's kind of totally dominating the narrative at that. Magic Millions in English, it's day 2 of the Magic Millions March sale. Is now ongoing. Day 1 yesterday. Gross was good. It was up 5.4 million Australian dollars. That was up 43%. 63% sold. Average was up to 39 Australian dollars. That was up 5.7%. Median was up to 30,000. That was up 15.4%. It's going well so far. Top lot on day 1 was a better than ready filly. Went for $130,000 to Golden Racing. I think I've just seen there's a Hussein just gone for 200,000. I think I saw that on Twitter a minute ago. But yeah, so a decent, solid Gold Coast March for the smaller market, lower middle market, I would say. Inglis, 200 lots sold on Inglis Digital March. There was an unraced trial winner holding captive again by Hussein, went for 310,000. I think that's probably going Kieran Maher. It's bought by people related to the Kieran Maher stable. English also digital sale in the US. That was topped by Broodmare Prospect Faith Understood by Catholic Boy at 80,000. Happened in the rest of industry news. A couple of Group 1 winners retired after the Azuri Stakes at Oaklawn. The Cara by Street Sense, that's a 1.25 million earner, and will go to Not This Time. In my opinion, the best stallion in America, say it quietly. And then Quiet Side, Malibu Moon, just a shade over $1 million earner, will go to Nyquist, as everyone loves to quite like Nyquist. Yeah, there was some sad news that saw John Stewart put something of Resolute Racing on Twitter. I refuse to call it X because I don't like Elon Musk. Lost her Frankel colt. And will go to the best sire in America, Not This Time, in the next breeding season. Fortunately, Rocket Man, who was Singapore's only kind of abroad Group 1 winner, won the Golden Shaheen 2011 at Meydan, died of colic this week. So kind of a big loss to Asian racing heritage and history. A horse, again, we talked quite a lot about OBS March. A horse, I think, that came out of OBS June last year, Crude Velocity, was a very nice 2-year-old last year, but earned Bo Liam his first TDN Rising Star, was in a very hot race this week and was very impressive. Didn't have the greatest trip and kind of won very impressively at the end. So keep an eye on Crude Velocity in the US, and Bo Liam keeps going. Thinking about the Kentucky Derby, Potente, if I've pronounced that correctly, Potente. The Mischief won the Group 2 San Felipe for Bob Baffert at 8-1. Classic Into Mischief, Kentucky Derby, kind of pathway profile. Majestic Oops, Practical Joke, Nitrogen in the Group 2 Azuri. So that's more on kind of the Broodmare values side. So yeah, I hope that was useful. That's what's been happening in Global Bloodstock this week. Keep an eye on the blog. A lot more things will be coming in the